Okay, welcome back to the rest of the news, 9:70 a.m., The Answer. And
could I finish?
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, and so that was the only gap that existed, was where we would not be allowed to be, courses were not allowed to be taught in schools where a lot of black kids were. Nowadays the gap is based on, we have a Jefferson County public school system that's more invested in indoctrination and selling diversity and anti-bullying policies and things like that, where you can go to the bathroom and where you can't, than they are with educating our children, both white and black.
Right.
And when you end up, but when you have these gaps of 20 and 30 points between the races, that has nothing to do with anything other than they have a whole different agenda that they're operating off of.
Okay.
And so we need charter schools to reverse that. Yeah,
we got a caller.
Oh, Michon.
Oh, Michon.
Like Michon. Is that you, Michon?
This is Michon.
Hey, there he is. How you doing?
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I was listening to the radio, and it just happened to hear y'all on the air talking and everything, talking about these schools, and I'm so glad that the bill passed and everything. But the work, I just spoke to Jerry Stevenson, telling him that I like to get the Descendants of American Slaves, DAS. We got a registered political party behind that to help support that cause. Mm-hmm. I think this is a good thing. It's not about segregation. Let me be very clear. It's about returning the very thing that we should not have thought that we needed to sit by other people to make us feel like we needed to be smart by sitting by other people. We're doing just fine learning how to teach our own children, but we're at a different time. There's nothing wrong with trying to help our children and return the pride back into our communities. So I'm very excited about it.
Right.
Well, we hear the stories of charter schools in other cities and how successful they've been. So exactly. I think it's a very good thing for everybody.
Well, it can be a very positive thing. It's all about the way that it's being received and the mentality behind it is trying to keep people from thinking. I mean, it's sad. I've listened to one station and hearing people talking, it's like we're going back to the 40s and 50s or 60s or so. I mean, this crazy stuff. Like we don't have the ability to try to educate our own children, or there is ignorance that we have to fight up against.
They were against charter schools?
Yeah, my God! Majorly, they were against the whole idea of charter school. They thought we was trying to segregate them.
They think it's resegregation. Some people think it's resegregation.
Yeah, they think it's resegregation. They think it's some idea that we're trying to remove our children from sitting around other kids and everything to make them feel more intelligent, returning them back to the black schools, black communities, and it's such ignorant conversations like that.
Yeah, because the students do much better.
Huh?
The students do much better in charter schools.
The school can be in a charter school. The school can be designed for the needs of the child and similar children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was on the radio I was on the phone rather during the campaign. I was making phone calls for a candidate.
Yeah.
And a lady, and one of the issues that the guy was interested in was charter schools. And I told the lady about, what did she think of charter? She didn't. I don't think much about it. I don't think much at all. And she said, "What is it?" So I told her. And I mentioned that if a child has some problems, that parents could set up a school that would address those problems of their particular child.
Right.
And she had a grandchild that was autistic, and she said, "Could they do that for a child with autism?" And I said, "Sure. It would. Just parents with the same problems could get together and get a charter and do that." And immediately she was on the side of charter schools because she could see how her grandbaby, even though she didn't live in an urban area, she could see where her grandbaby in a rural area would benefit from having an opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just needs to focus on. We need better education. We need to as I call it, unlearn what we thought was working and relearn what we need to learn, and now to try to re-educate our community. So it's a great job. I'm very proud of. I want to see how DAS, a new political party, can get on board and help the cause.
Well, praise God, Doc. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
No problem. Take care. Bye-bye.
This is me, Sean Daniels, the head of Man Up.
Man Up,
and the new political party, Descendants of American Slaves.
Right. Well, the stories that you hear about charter schools, that the teachers are good teachers. They are encouraging the students, and they'll stay late to help a student catch up with what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it's just...
Did you ever get to go on one of those junkets to Charles A. Tinley's school up in Indianapolis?
No.
Perhaps, at some point we might be able to put together another junket. Maybe you could... I know you're a doctor, so it's hard to take off a day, but if you could go up and see it, man, it would blow your mind.
Yeah.
Charles A. Tinley, when it was started in an abandoned grocery store in the middle of a neighborhood that was a hellhole.
Yeah.
And within 10 years, the school has literally, as the schools has become more and more successful, the environment all around it has changed.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole. I mean, you would. What was described to me when they first started the school back in the early 2000s, to when I went up there a couple of years ago, it was like, I thought y'all told me that what was about all of these bad things going around, and it looked like a suburban school district.
Oh, look, we got another call.
Okay.
Richard?
Yeah. Is this Richard?
I'm sorry, Richard. Could you start over? We didn't hear the first words.
I want to ask why Mayor Fisher is trying to get alien refuge status for Louisville. Don't we have a high enough crime rate?
I think he wants. I think he wants to.
That's right.
I think he wants to be president, and he thinks he can do that through.
That's a real good question. I mean, some people, it's just as if they were saying we need more terrorists in our city, and so we need to import more and more people so we can have more terrorists and more.
Everything that's immigration isn't terrorism. I mean, we have a problem in West Louisville with unemployment.
Yeah,
and it's not helping to bring in people, to allow people who come who come here without documentation, who because of that can be forced to work for lower and lower wages.
Right.
It makes people in West Louisville who were born here, who
harder to get a job.
Harder to get a job.
Yeah.
And like we don't have to go to the rubric of looking for a terrorist under every rock. It's just the plain economics of the thing.
Right. That's all part of it.
It's just not right.
The thing is, we got too many workers already, and what we need is more jobs and not more workers. So they're bringing in more and more workers,
which runs down the wages.
Yeah. So it's especially bad.
I remember 20 years ago, my son, who's 39, lost the job washing dishes at a restaurant that starts with an O and ends with an apostrophe. Yes, I won't say what restaurant it was, but it was about 20 years ago. He got fired, and he got replaced with 4 guys.
Oh, brother. Okay, Richard.
That's how little they were paying them.
Hold on just a minute. We got to take a break, and we'll be right back.